Welcome to Classroom Chronicle. I'm Pete Braley. This is the show that tries to showcase what is going on at the schools that serve New Bedford students. So if you have a story idea for us, I'd love to hear from you. It can be about a class, a student, a teacher, a play, a team, a concert, or anything that features students from New Bedford. Just let me know. You can message me on Facebook. I'm also on X. You can reach me at Pete Braley, or you can email peter.braley@newbedford-ma.gov. That's peter.braley@newbedford-ma.gov. Our guest today is back for another visit, so I guess we didn't scare him away. Please welcome the president of Bishop Stang High School, Jim Benson. Jim, thanks for being with us.
Pete, thanks for having me again. Boy, it's gone quick the last couple of years.
You mentioned when you came in, you said it's been, 2 years? And I did look at the tape this morning. It has been 2 years. And that was when we welcomed you here from Minnesota.
Yes. And it's been a wonderful 2 years. We've accomplished a lot at Bishop Stang.
I do want to catch up with you. And one of the things Jim today wants to talk about how Bishop Stang is now registered as a 501c3 nonprofit organization. And we'll get to that in just a moment and what it means for the school and the community. But first, just to catch up a little bit, Jim came to us from a Catholic high school in Minneapolis. So I have to ask if you missed the Minnesota winters.
I don't, especially this year. The November has been wonderful.
Oh, hasn't it?
Minneapolis has already got 4 inches of snow, and we've been basking in the sunlight, so that's been nice.
In fact, I think you told me that your backyard thermometer went from 23 below to 102 or something like that?
Yeah, so you have good memory, yeah.
Well, it helps that I just watched it this morning, so that helps.
It was definitely a place of extremes out there, and I like the more moderate ocean climate, that's for sure.
So when you were here last, you told us that this was an opportunity you felt you couldn't turn down. So how's that turned out?
It's gone better than I expected.
Oh, great.
Honestly, I've been just embraced by the community. I love our students. They love their school, and that's what fuels me every day. Yeah. They love their school. They're proud of their school. They have fun learning. They have fun getting to know one another. They're proud of their school, and I'm humbled to be the leader, and that's what keeps fueling me every day.
When you and I last talked, we were just coming out of COVID. We were talking about getting back to the classroom and not wearing masks anymore. Is that a distant memory, or where are we now? Was the senior class affected by COVID?
They were ninth graders then at the time, a little bit. So I think they were the class that was split. They came back, but they were split,
right.
And then they had the masks. No, things have gone nicely now. It seems like more of a return to normal.
Good.
I feel like their stress level is down, and they're just, having fun being kids again, which is great to see.
Have you noticed, or have other educators noticed, a change in the students as far as like COVID having an effect on their social skills? I've read stories about that, but.
Yeah, I think a little bit. One of the things we did at Bishop Stang this year was we really restricted the cell phone use. Students have to now turn in their cell phones at the beginning of the day. They go in a box in their homeroom, and they stay in the box. And at first, students gave some pushback to that because they're really familiar with their cell phone. They check it all the time.
Sure.
And but we were just getting concerned that was preventing them from really interacting normally. So I'd say the cell phones had something to do with that too. And COVID, if you know, when they were sitting around with COVID, they had nothing to do, like even the adults, we were on social media a lot and on computers. So we felt really strongly after speaking with parents and students, there was a committee put together, that this was the best option. I think that's led to a more healthy climate for us this year.
And I've heard from others, other schools that have a cell phone, not a ban, but restricted use, that they've seen an improvement. They've seen people talking to each other in the hallways, and heads are up instead of down.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. I think too that students didn't even realize, but they knew they shouldn't be checking their cell phone, but they did, and that caused an inherent stress. I think subconsciously they didn't even think about.
Sure.
And I think everybody's just more relaxed, and teachers don't have to, look to police it, so to speak, and it's been a benefit for us. And I think the students realize that now too.
Now, for those that don't know, Jim, your entire background has been in Catholic education.
Right. It's 33 years now I've been in Catholic education.
Congratulations.
So I always like to say I'm in the same company, just different divisions. So, but yeah, I've given my life to Catholic education ever since I was in first grade at St. Raphael's Church in Sunnyside, Queens, New York, and I can't think of being on a different path. It's a wonderful vocation that I'm in, really, to be honest.
Born and raised in New York, and he's a Jets fan and a Mets fan. We covered that last time.
Right, we're happy with the Mets, not the Jets.
You had a great September, October with the Mets.
We did. The Aaron Rodgers experiment is an obvious failure, but yeah. So
we won't go there.
We won't. No.
If you don't mind, tell us again why Catholic education for 33 years. What is it that, besides the fact that you were raised in a Catholic school and a good Catholic upbringing, why'd you stay there? What is special about Catholic education to you?
Pete, there's something that when you have hard times, that you can lean on your faith, and you get to see students realize that they're part of an institution that's bigger than themselves. And all of us are, not just the students, but the educators.
Right.
And that when things are hard, you can lean on that. We are in a time of great anxiety. I'm hoping that anxiety is lessening as we get away from COVID. We pray that the world settles down and becomes more peaceful, but that is obviously causing some anxiety. But what a time to be in Catholic education, where you can learn about how prayer can calm you, how community and doing service for others can calm you. That when you see beyond yourself and that you use your talents to help others, that can bring great joy to you. Mm-hmm. And you realize your worth, your value, and again, with students, we accompany them on their journey. And we're, like all educators, are trying to instill confidence, helping them find their voice, helping them find their talent. And in Catholic education, I just can't imagine a different way to do that without speaking to students' faith.
Okay.
And so that's been really fun to watch them grow in their faith journey. And that's why I've stayed with Catholic education all these years. I've seen the positive impact. It's life-changing.
Great. One of the things you talked about the last time you were here was getting the word out, letting the community know what Bishop Stang is all about, and I think I've seen an improvement in leaps and bounds in that area.
Thank you.
Talk about that for a moment, if you can. How did that come about?
Well, within a week, even maybe before that, I knew that we needed somebody to help lead that story. So we had looked. One of my goals was to restructure the organization a little bit, and we hired a director of communications. And Elizabeth King has just done a fantastic job for us. We searched for a while. It was about a 3-month interview process, and we discovered Elizabeth, and Elizabeth has been wonderful. And we're really trying to meet students where they're at, and a lot of them are on social media,
right.
And even our younger parents, they're shopping on social media. So we give little glimpses on Instagram, Facebook, even TikTok, where students get a little peek behind the curtain, and we give little, scenes about here's what's going on at Stang for the day, or highlights what we're doing. And we do have a number of students who are on a social media committee that assist Elizabeth, and they provide some feedback and advice to her.
Oh, wow.
And I'm really proud of the work that we're doing, because we have a lot to be excited about. We want to share it. We have on our pamphlets Bishop Stang, and we use 3 words: where you belong. And we're very confident that every student should have an experience at Bishop Stang for several reasons. Academic rigor is one, faith obviously, and prayer is another, but community. It's just a place where people really care about each other. And we're confident when we say it's where you belong, because these are key years in students' development.
Right. So yeah, one of the reasons for the visit today, besides the update, is to tell us about the 501c3 status. What does that mean to the average person, and why is it a good thing for Bishop Stang?
Well, when Bishop DeCunha hired me, he and I and Superintendent Dan Roy had a conversation about the organizational structure and future of Bishop Stang, and really the future of the secondary schools in the diocese. Bishop Fian up in Attleboro was a school that had gone to a 501c3 model and that we were going to follow in that model. Catholic high schools across the country that are succeeding go under a president-principal model. The person that I replaced a person who did both jobs, which is pretty extraordinary to do that. The president is the outward-facing, the CEO type that will plan the vision of the school, strategic planning, which will plan the budget, the branding that you recognize, and thank you for that. And the principal runs the day-to-day operations of the school. My first task was to work with the diocese to get our own nonprofit 501c3 status. Now, why is that important? Well, because the Bishop d'Acunha saw that Bishop Stang can stand alone financially. We're still a diocesan school, but we can manage our own finances. To help me do that, though, I had to go out and find and invite members of the community that could serve on our board of trustees. The board that we worked under originally for 64 years was an advisory board, so they could offer some advice. But the board of trustees, though, they take on a fiduciary responsibility to make sure that the school operates well financially. They approve the budget, they approve other motions, whatever plans that we come up with. For instance, they will approve the strategic plan. I know we'll get into that in a little bit. But I have members of that board who have background in public relations, legal, financing, accounting, investing, run organizations that help me make decisions that are in the best interests of the school long term. So that's why it's really exciting, is that we have a lot more say in the direction of the school because our finances are strong, you see. And so the bishop has given us a lot more latitude to do that. And I'm proud of that. And I'm grateful for the confidence that Bishop d'Acunha has in our school.
Super. I noticed in your president's message on your website, see, someone reads those.
You do, thank you. Right.
You wrote, the energy of our students brings on a daily basis, the energy our students bring on a daily basis provides great hope for our future. Speaking of the future, our strategic planning is well underway. What's that about?
So every organization should have a strategic plan that is a roadmap to executing on the vision and mission statement of the school. The plan that we are putting together will be a 5-year plan. We haven't formally named it yet, but it will take us to the year 2030. We are working with an outside consulting company that has helped Catholic schools across the nation execute on this. They are known as Partners in Mission. We have a strong relationship with them. Al Catelli is a person who worked closely with Bishop Stang for many years. He's a graduate. I won't say his year because he won't be happy with me, but Al works with Partners in Mission, and I had many conversations with him and the organization, and they're doing a fantastic job helping us engage people. The model we're using is we're bringing in people that help assess our school, and then they come up with some ideas to help prioritize what are we going to be doing in the future. What are our major priorities going to be in facilities? What are our priorities going to be in academics or finance or governance? We have a lot of big questions to answer, and this plan that we create will help us focus for the next 5 years and stay focused on that.
Okay, that's not, it's funny, when you mention 2030, my brain just goes, it's not that far off, is it?
No. We're almost halfway through this decade, so.
Now, you mentioned Al and whatever year he graduated, and that brought to mind the fact that one thing, and I see this also at Greater New Bedford Voc Tech and at New Bedford High School, and I see it at Bishop Stang, a lot of the people that work for you were graduates. They want to come back, right?
They do.
Yeah, why do you think that is? Besides just, great high school memories.
Pete, I use the word vocation, that it's not a job, and there's a difference between vocation and job. A vocation, you feel called to do it. You feel this calling. It's an internal calling. It's a calling from above that it's not you just get up and you do it, and it doesn't feel like a job. It's your heart is into it even more than others, and I think that's why people come back. They love Bishop Stang. Our vice principal, our dean of students, director of admissions, they're all Stang graduates. Because there's a calling. They want to make the school better because they know the impact it's had on the community.
On their life, yeah, and on their community. One of the things you mentioned the last time you were here was the importance of connecting with the Catholic elementary schools. I think I referred to it as your feeder program when we were here. How's that going? Have you been very involved with?
It's going well. I would say our principal is more involved, Dan Dias, so we have a new principal. This year we officially realized the president-principal model. I needed a couple of years to assess, who would be the best person to do that and when are we ready, and this year we were ready. So Dan has been taking part in the Greater New Bedford meetings, but also since we last met, Bishop Connolly closed.
Oh, right, yes.
That was a hard moment for the diocese. And our objective there was to really open the doors for Bishop Connolly students and their families, to say we're saddened that you've lost this opportunity to be at Bishop Connolly, especially everything after COVID. It's just another loss for students. And we wanted to at least show them that we're ready to embrace them if they so choose to come to Bishop Connolly. And I'm happy to tell you that 95 students chose, out of about 110, chose to come over to Bishop Stang.
That's a great number. Yeah.
We had 42 seniors that transferred over, 42 rising seniors, because it wasn't, unfortunately, Bishop Connolly closed, but Catholic education is still alive and well in this diocese. I need you to hear that, and I need the people watching the show to hear that. I know Catholic education has taken a hit over many years, but for instance, at Bishop Stang, this new model we have of the Board of Trustees, President, Principal, and the number of people getting engaged, Bishop Stang is going to be around for a long, long time, because there's a lot of people that are giving us and providing us resources to make sure that happens.
That's great. That's great. I noticed that there's a lot going on at Bishop Stang. I noticed the theater company or the drama club recently presented It's a Wonderful Life. What is the Michael O'Brien Thanksgiving food drive?
So Michael O'Brien was a former Bishop Stang employee who retired a few years ago due to health. Mike gave nearly 4 decades of his life to Bishop Stang as teacher, administrator, and Mike started a Thanksgiving food drive many years ago, and we continue that for us. So that's going to be going on the next several days.
What is the Christmas season like at Bishop Stang? You've been there for, is this your second or third one?
This will be my third Christmas. This will be my third Christmas.
First of all, before you answer that, I would think that it's a totally unique experience. And I'm not saying one's better than the other, because it's apples and oranges. But I would think it's a different experience than, say, the public school. They all have Christmas concerts, they have special programs, but you've got prayer as part of every day. So how is the holiday season different?
Well, it's obviously arguably our biggest season of the year liturgically in Advent, as we're waiting for the coming of Jesus Christ and the celebration of his birthday on December 25th. There's so many ways I could go with this. For instance, we send out an Advent readings that we send out each day. So each day we do Advent reflections, I should say, not Advent readings. We do reflections on Advent readings. I will kick it off next Sunday, the first week of Advent, where I will write a reflection on the gospel reading and the readings in church. And then someone else will take the helm the next day and the next day. And they're very short reflections that we ask people to read that helps them stay focused on what does the Christmas season really mean. That's one way that we celebrate it. Another way is we do have the Secret Santa, that we do gifts for others. We are doing a toy drive this year for My Brother's Keeper in memory of Jean Reville. Jean Reville was a storied theology teacher at Bishop Stang. She spent many, many years teaching theology and also working in campus ministry. Jean tragically died this year. I don't know if you're aware of that, in a tragic accident at my brother's keeper. And this year we'll be celebrating her legacy by having a toy drive for my brother's keeper.
Oh, nice.
For all the work that they do.
Right.
But it is very festive. There is some stress too, because we still have to get some work done in midst of celebration. But all in all, it's a very festive time.
Right. And then the Christmas break, and then 2025 will be here before we know it.
Right, and then we'll go right into exams. It'll be the end of the semester, and then we'll be looking to plan semester 2.
We were talking before we got started here. Our station manager, Jim Marshall, was in here, and his kids have gone to Bishop Stang, and he was talking about how a couple of his kids have maybe toyed with the idea, or have said, "I wish they could see me. Teachers could see me now. They'd never realize. They'd be amazed at what I'm doing." And you kind of lit up with that. You were like, "Why not?" Do you have that a lot? Do you have alumni from the community come back and visit and maybe speak?
I wish we'd have more.
Do you encourage
come back.
it?
We do. We do
Here's
have an
your
alumni.
opportunity.
We have an
Yeah.
alumni Q&A that we do, where a person comes back and talks about their career and what they do. We've been really grateful for those alum who've participated. I would encourage the alum to come back and tell us what they're doing. One of my goals is to bring people back to the school that they loved, to strengthen that connection again. Recently, we had the Hall of Fame back at the school. Rather than have it at White's or another facility, we brought the people back. So, Jerry Kavanaugh and the basketball team that we honored, they got to do that right in the gym. At Pereira was the MC for the evening. It was a wonderful day.
Right.
People enjoyed being back in the school. We want alumni to come back to, relive their high school memories. I'm really proud to let you know that we just had a week of giving, and we had a decades competition for the alumni. And the 80s were the ones who donated the most money, so we're celebrating them all week on social media.
Oh, great.
So we just put a bunch of pictures on social media from the 80s, and we're looking to do that all week. The alumni should be proud of their school, and they should know that how much we value them, because our students currently stand on their shoulders. We're not where we are today without the alum.
Great.
So.
Yeah, two of my broadcast partners for sports are alumni. We've got Ed Pereira, who I do sports with, and also Joe Cabral.
Sure. Yeah.
Joe's actually told me, I think the last time we were at the baseball field, or we were doing a softball game, so we were in the back.
Okay.
I think Joe told me that whole area used to be swamp.
Back then, that's what I was told.
Yeah.
It was, and I know many students way back when would cross over that to get to the stores or wherever. So it is much more leveled out now, much drier, and now it's turf.
Right.
And the students love playing on their field.
So when we were talking 2 years ago, you were new to the area. You had, I would assume, expectations, things you wanted to get done. How's your list going? Have you been able to tick off quite a few things?
Yeah, somebody asked me several months ago, what do you like most about the job? And I said I like coming up with, executing on a list of things to do, and taking the school in a direction. And then somebody said, well, what do you dislike the most about the job? And I said, the amount of time that takes. It takes a long time to execute on what we're doing. But, since I have been there and the new team has emerged at Bishop Stang, we've realized we've put, new roofs on our building. We've put 571 solar panels.
Wow.
We are, we have the 501c3. We're starting a new strategic plan. For those alum who are watching, you'll be very proud that we're finally replacing the boiler since 1959.
Wow.
I inherited a school that just had a brand new field. We're increasing financial aid. We gave out more tuition assistance this year than any other year previously, to the tune of $1.4 million.
Wow.
So we're accomplishing things, but it takes time.
And is that a good part of your day? You mentioned how the principal handles the day-to-day, so you're out.
Yeah, I'm out,
organizing
facilities, figuring out ways to raise money. Our next piece of the facilities will be Our windows have to look at. We have the original windows, so we're going to have to do something about that. I've learned a lot more about windows than I ever thought I would. Learned you have to involve a lot of people, but we're going to need help to accomplish these things. So, those who are watching, if they feel like they can offer their time or talent or treasure, let me know.
All right.
I'm hopeful, very, very optimistic about our future. We're just past year 65, and everything that we're accomplishing now over the next 5 years will get us to year 100 eventually. I'll be long retired by then, but that's what we're setting the school up for.
And was this 501c3, was this on your list when you came in?
This
is something you really focused on?
This was, yeah, and it's been great. I have a great relationship with our new board chair, Shay Assad, from the class of 68. He's been a tremendous resource for me. Nancy Fernandez, who works over at Bay Coast Bank, she's the vice chair, and they are rolling their sleeves up to execute on this vision that we create and these priorities that we create over the next 5 years.
Is this one of those things that, say if I'm a parent of a student there, or if I'm a student, I really won't notice this 501c3, but it's important to you and the function of the school?
Yeah, I would say to parents and families, on a day-to-day you won't, but when we execute on big projects, you will.
Okay.
So when you see new roofs up, and you see new branding materials up, when you see a new boiler, that's the board at work.
Right.
Brad Curtis, from the class of 76, has been a tremendous resource to us for facilities, help with the roofs, help with the boiler. That's when you see, that in work.
Right.
New strategic plan come out. That will be the board.
And that's the 5-year plan? When do you expect that to be out?
I'm optimistic that the timeline we're on now, that we will present it to the board in May for approval, and then we will release it to the public on our website next fiscal year, July 25.
Super.
Yeah.
Boy, time flew by, huh?
It did.
Yeah.
It did.
It's been nice to catch. I don't always have a chance to go back and visit with someone and say, so, how's it working out? So,
well, Pete, I hope we can do that again. We can do it sooner than later.
Let's not wait 2 years.
No, we won't. Right.
I'm sure I'll see you at a basketball game this winter.
And yeah, I hope so. And hopefully, the Jets will be in a better direction in a couple of years then too. We'll see.
We'll see about that. Yeah.
I know the Spartans will, that's for sure. Definitely know the Spartans will be.
And I did go see a Mets game at Citi Field this year. A really
Great
nice
place.
field. Really
Great
nice
place.
field.
It was a lot of fun.
Our guest has been Jim Benson, the president of Bishop Stang High School. It's great to catch up and find out how things are going since he came to us from Minnesota a couple of years ago. That's going to do it for this edition of Classroom Chronicle. Thank you so much for tuning in. Until next time, I'm Pete Braley. Take care.